Hey guys, quick question for you. Have you ever experienced déjà vu?
No.
Yes.
What?
I think most of us probably have. And tonight on Zumundous, we're going to explore the sensation of déjà vu.
Zumundous.
And welcome to Zumundous. I'm Doolin.
I'm Keith.
I'm Greg.
Rick.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is standing in for Rick tonight, apparently.
No,
Arnold
That's
Schwarzenegger as Corky in Life Goes On.
I feel like we've done this
I'm
before.
on the.
Yeah, we got to incept him, Morty.
Case in point, we're all about 3 drinks in, so
Yeah.
roll with
There's
us.
your disclaimer.
3 drinks
Or Roll
in.
for Real, a podcast coming on July 7th.
Oh, you should check it out. It's going to be amazing.
Red Bull.
But no, so what is déjà vu? And I think it's something that most everybody who is listening to this has experienced. Like you're doing something, maybe you're at work, maybe you're driving your car, maybe you're talking to a friend or a loved one, and all of a sudden you're just like, I've done this. It's like this whole conversation has happened, or this whole action has happened. Like I feel like you guys have experienced that, right? Like everybody here, I think we can all we've all experienced this sensation at some point.
I have.
No.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. No, more so that I've gotten older. Absolutely. The older
Okay.
I've gotten, the more instances of deja vu. And I think that actually tracks.
I wish
Yeah.
I could remember specific instances here. I'm having trouble.
No, mine are like all like
Feelings. Or
Yeah, there is-
mundane.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Very
it's mostly
mundane, absolutely.
mundane stuff. You know, like it's not anything notable. It's mostly like mundane stuff. You're doing something very mundane, and then you just get hit with this sensation. Like, wait a minute, when,
I've done this before.
This is when
Yeah,
you know when,
that's
but, and then
exactly
and
the
you
words.
think back of like in
looked
your
that
in your
way,
memory, and you're like, what? When did I do this before? Like when like, and then you can't like recall a specific point where this conversation or this moment in time happened before.
Dream.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
honestly,
that's
yeah,
exactly
that's
it, though.
There have been
Yeah.
moments where I've had deja
was
vu,
weird.
and it's happened more recently.
So I know the feeling.
Or I've wondered, did I dream this, and I'm just now experiencing something that's very similar to my dream?
You know, it's funny. It's
Or-
funny you mentioned that. There's
because mine have been in group settings where like you come in and say something, and I'm like, "Ooh, that's when like I feel it."
Yeah. Well, it's funny you should mention dreams because there's 4 scientific theories behind deja vu.
Okay.
One of them is the dream theory, and I'll go ahead and hit you with that.
All right.
So deja vu, and this
Oh,
is
that's
according to the theory, it happens because you actually dreamed the moment before it happened.
Okay.
That's the dream theory.
I like that one.
There's memory mismatch theory, which
We're done.
Yeah, and done. No, there's memory mismatch theory, which means that your brain misfires and recognizes something as a past memory
Right.
when it's actually present. So it could be just a brain misfire.
Well-
Go ahead. You got something on that?
I love that your search is different than mine. The first thing that comes up is mental disorders, and the second thing that comes up is pharmacology.
You guys have
like
had this
that
argument
one.
before.
Yeah, we could be experiencing temporal lobe epilepsy as well. So I don't know. Now,
I mean, it could be. It could be like a very minute sort of, mental lapse or something
well,
like that. Yeah.
shoot, we got problems, guys. We got
Well, the whole world has experienced.
Yeah, I know. Like everybody experiences it. I mean,
there's definitely early reschers tried to establish a link between deja vu and mental disorders
Early
such as
research was
anxiety,
when?
dissociative identity
2 days ago.
disorder, and schizophrenia.
Earlier than us.
I mean, this is serious stuff. We might be crazy, but they've failed to find some correlations.
but I just may be the lunatic you're
they have-
looking for.
They have failed to find correlation.
It's a great song.
Yeah, thank you.
They have. You just said it. They have failed to find correlation in disorders.
You are absolutely right, though. It is something mundane. Recently, I'll be at work, and I'll
Okay.
be...
Wait, he's got a story. All right, go ahead.
Recently, I'll have been at work and I will be about to have a conversation with somebody about a certain thing, or I'll be in the middle of an action, and I literally will freeze for a moment.
Literally?
That's
Literally freeze.
Literally.
Icicles all around me. No, but in that moment, I will be like, I've done this already.
Indeed.
But my first thing that I will think about was, did I dream this?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it
yeah.
seems
No,
like
I
it's
felt like
something
that before,
happened
yeah.
in a dream, and it has only happened more recently. And when I was younger, I used to identify coincidences, which are similar to deja vu, but not exactly the same thing. Deja vu is we believe we've done this exact same thing before.
It's almost like a feeling sensation.
Yeah, no, it's a gut
1,000%.
sensation. Absolutely. You're just like, and you have to stop and take a moment and process it, because it's like this conversation that, like, let's say just for hypothetical reasons, I get a flash of deja vu right now, and we're sitting around here, and I'm just like, no, why do I feel like we've been here and had this conversation
Right.
before? You know what I mean?
Are you taking
like
cold
we've never
medicine?
done this. We've never had this conversation around this table before. But for some reason, I feel like we've done it already. You know what I mean? So it's just, but then you have to like go back and think about it for just a few minutes. Like what is the explanation for that?
Well, I think there is a pharmacological thing. If you take certain cold medicines to relieve flu symptoms, that can cause it more often. That doesn't mean
Theoretically or proven?
no. They talk about that.
So theoretically or proven?
Tylenol has proven deja vu.
Tylenol has a lot of
It's
sulfur
just-
in it. Apparently,
Side effects
too.
include deja vu,
Side
No, I
effects
mean,
include
past life
deja
theory.
vu. Side effects include deja vu.
pancreatic cancer.
But there's also
I just repeats.
so no, I mean, but these are things that could possibly influence these things, right? Split perception explanation. Have you ever seen this on Wikipedia?
No,
It
hit me
says-
up. What is split?
So
Wikipedia.
it has if you experience the concurrent sensory experience twice successfully. So that means if your first input experience is brief, degraded, occluded, or distracted, immediately following that, the second perception might be familiar because the person naturally related it to the first input. Now, I can't really think of a scenario. Now, I'm trying to think, like, if you...
Smoke coming out of my ears.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can explain that.
Is that sort of like left eye seeing what the right before?
Possibly, yeah. Something
bro.
like that, yeah.
My head hurts.
That's similar
So
but
actually,
different. But
so
yeah.
I have. There's a couple
Okay,
of.
so it is different. All right.
But that would be
There's
different.
I've got a couple of theories here, which I ain't going to do, but these are scientific theories, like the memory mismatch theory, the dream theory, processing lag theory, which is kind of similar to the memory mismatch theory, which means your brain processes the same information twice, milliseconds apart, making it feel like you've seen it before.
However, though,
But there's supernatural theories that go into
I
this
like
as
this.
well. So this is where we kind of everybody put on those tinfoil hats. We're about to dive into the rabbit hole. So there is
Start the episode again.
yeah. So
but
On this episode of
before you
Deja
jump into
Vu.
this, though,
yeah, go ahead.
the thing with experiencing things milliseconds apart, like re-experiencing the same thing twice, re-experiencing the same thing twice, like something like that, like. It's the emotional response of deja vu is usually like it would be somebody like you're walking in and you're like, hey, I got a great idea. That's way too long of a sensory input to experience subsequently that quick.
Okay.
Right? Because there's too much information. It'd be like, oh, this whole feeling feels like I've done this before, as opposed to just Greg taking 2 steps saying one thing. That's a lot more information than just like
Greg,
this
2
like-
steps MacGyver.
Is this
That's
like is this like the time
me
you
2
ruined
steps.
his life
give me 2 steps, mister. Different episode. I did not ruin Greg's life, for the record.
and a hypothetical
That you know
version
of.
you did. But anyways,
Now there's a timeline where Greg's
In an
life is
infinite
fucking
number
ruined.
of universes and
And Principal
multiverse.
Skinner
It all
standing in
comes
front of
back
his car, which has been demolished by a rocket that Bart launched.
And speaking
I'm
of which,
just like,
the same actor that played Principal Skinner in another timeline was in A Bridge Too Far with
Gene Hackman.
somebody just clicking on this one episode without listening to past episodes, like, what the fuck are they talking about?
why are they so obsessed with Gene Hackman?
Right.
Well, on this
or A
episode
Bridge
of
Too Far.
Zumundous.
So here's another
It's
one
like
though.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
There's so when we get into like sort of the crazy stuff, there's the parallel universes theory when it comes to deja vu.
Oh, this is probably the
so
Okay.
truth.
deja vu, and also this kind of overlaps with multiverse theory a little bit. Deja vu is 2 versions of you syncing up across different realities. So
Well,
whatever
like
it is,
that.
whatever it is you're doing,
That's the most ballast.
I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
the most what?
Yeah, I forget what I said.
He used the word.
Ballast? You say
Most baller.
Baller. Oh, baller. Okay.
It's the ballast.
HBO presents Ballers. Sorry.
It's like ballast for your mind, and when the ballast is even with another part of your reality,
We might be
you
a couple
connect.
of drinks into this episode.
Not to
This-
turn into
Hey,
Freddie.
I'm just stupid.
Not to turn into FTW from Roll for Real, but
Wait,
this
Freddie-
reminds
Freddie
me.
versus-
Releasing on July 7th.
Releasing on July 7th. This reminds me of an episode of Star Trek. Or
No, but seriously, hit me with that episode of Star Trek.
So they are caught in a time loop. Basically, the Enterprise has an accident that causes the Enterprise to explode, and everybody is
I
killed.
remember. I love that episode.
It's a really good episode. I
I
believe
feel like
it
I've
is
had this
Conundrum.
conversation before.
They but they keep repeating. They got caught in a causality loop that they keep
Groundhog Day.
repeating it. Sort of like Groundhog Day, but
Okay.
there's information a little bit that passes over that again creates a sense of deja vu. I have a feeling we've done this before, and so
Like they start dealing cards, and like all of a sudden they're realizing Ace,
right.
Jack, and like
So all of the
yeah,
past
yeah.
experiences
Like,
that they
wait a
had
minute, we've
start
been
to
here
accumulate and form the deja vu, and that helps them solve the mystery. But I believe it goes back to what you're saying: different time loops or whatnot.
Yeah.
Star Trek being one of the greatest shows ever made. You know,
Amen.
it did
You're
that.
very
The
well
Next
cast in the
Generation.
role of Freddie Theodore Watkins.
Hell yeah!
In
I
many
am.
ways, it's superior, but will never be as recognized as the original.
Oh my god!
Here's another one, another crazy theory. Past lives theory, which is that maybe you've been here before doing something very similar or having a very similar conversation, but just in another lifetime.
If I've been here before, living the exact same life, almost in a different lifetime, what the fuck?
What the fuck am I doing?
Well, okay, hold on. In an infinite number of realities and an infinite number
You
of
can't do better
possibilities.
than
Hold on.
this. Me? No, I'm kidding. No,
If that were the
perfectly
case, they're not, that would allude to they're not all happening at the same time, which is weird.
which is also another episode.
Which means you can start theoretically
Next
travel between them.
Generation.
That's all I'm saying. Yes.
fine. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's weird. If you were to relive a thing in the multiverse, I don't know. Like
Well, does that kind of link up with the prior theory of
past lives or past regressed memories?
Well,
or
yeah,
something?
like different things interjecting. at
Yeah,
that moment.
I would think so.
Intersecting,
Probably,
excuse
yeah,
me.
intersecting. Yeah, so that goes
know.
into like reincarnation, which is a whole different thing, you know, because there's a lot of reincarnation theory out there and stuff like that. But if that is a thing, this definitely gives credence to that.
Well, there's deja vu.
What is deja vu?
Not to be confused with the hand of Vecnu. Is an intense
Dungeons and Dragons.
but false feeling of already having lived through something in the present situation. So you didn't, but you just feel that way.
Right. That's probably the most basic one.
It's a pathological form of deja vu, which usually when people say pathological, they're referring to liars. Yeah, so you just feel like you lived through something even though you didn't. That's just kind of weird,
I'm going
right?
to bring up an interesting point. I'm going to try to make a leap here, a quantum leap.
A quantum leap, if you will.
Yes, and
Scott
Dun,
Bakula.
dun, 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 dun.
and I apologize in advance if I actually don't hit
No, I
the
know.
point, but I'm going to try to
Didn't
make a
Trump put
point
it
or at least connect it. So in the final episode, when Sam is talking to the bartender Al,
Oh, that's a great episode. Yeah.
and he's trying to explain to him about the concept of his purpose in leaping, he asks Sam, well, let's say you've been a priest, and Sam's like, I've been a priest. He's like, all right, so you have. So let's say you've been a priest. All right, you're doing the same job, but as a priest, you're moved from parish to parish. So within the concept, you are making changes, but it does feel like you're consistently kind of doing the same thing over and over again, even
Okay.
though
Yeah.
if that's a part of it as well, like we change certain aspects of our
repeatable
life,
thing,
but
yeah.
we're still within those aspects doing very similar actions each time, though.
You could have a similar feeling.
You could have similar feeling. We all wake up every day. Well, those of us that don't die. We all wake up every day. We all feel sleepy sometimes. We all feel energetic sometimes.
Okay.
You repeat enough of those experiences, Rick.
Just move the mic to your mouth.
I'm sorry.
Eventually, one's gonna.
And it makes me ask the question, well, so is deja vu just, is it just because there's a finite amount of experiences that you can
Oh
have?
yeah, this is what you asked earlier.
You can only experience so many things so many times before it eventually comes back to you and you actually get the, whoa, I've done,
Well, then is boredom a version of deja vu?
But in experience, it feels more as if it's like precise.
Yeah, I
think
agree
that's
with
the
that.
thing.
Right.
It's like
Yeah, it's
literally.
like, yeah, no,
like
it's
this
like
moment
this
was-
moment has happened
Literally.
already. Yeah.
That's
It's
Sure.
not like I
Hair,
ate the
haircut.
same type
Boom,
of
him
ice
moving,
cream.
Like,
Right.
everything in that moment was like, whoa.
Right,
I
right.
have
It's
totally-
not exactly. It's
No,
not.
no,
It's
no.
not. I ate the same food. It tastes the same.
I ate.
It's like I ate the same food at this moment with these people, and everything is
Right.
Cindy said that word.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not
inflected.
trying to
Yeah.
equate deja vu with tedium. That's not the same thing at all.
Okay, good.
But
No, I
I,
understand.
think we experience it maybe more in our daily lives than we would like to think. But there is a moment where, like you said, everything aligns so much.
Yeah. That
Where
it
it comes
just
together, where it
feels
does
that
give you
it's-
that moment. I was like, no, literally every aspect of what I'm doing right now, I have done before. And I'm wondering if that's just the universe's rolling of the dice. And then, everything came up the way it did 5 years ago in this moment.
Snake eyes.
Well, listen,
Or if it is a dream.
Did you have a coworker who was acting very strange at the time? Because if so, it might actually be Sam Beckett leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping that each time that his next leap would
right.
be the leap home.
Am I the only one on the planet that loves that series?
No, I love that
I
show. I
just-
watch it all
yeah,
the
it's
time.
great.
man.
Yeah.
It's a great series, but I think it
I
ended
watched it last
perfectly.
night. Like I love that.
Did he
show.
go home?
No,
never made it
He
home.
never made it home.
And I'm actually okay with that ending.
because he's going to keep helping.
I assumed
I like
that
him.
it meant he made a choice to keep helping.
That's what I always thought. Yeah, I remember that.
That's moving.
And
And
you know-
no, that's genuinely moving.
I
Well,
believe him because he does.
I don't
Yeah,
remember a lot
Keith,
of.
if you're like, I fucking beg to differ. He
I-
should have gone
I-
home. And
Well,
I
but
mean,
he had a
should've,
wife
right?
waiting for him.
Yeah,
though.
but
That
He
was
does.
we're
well, he
going
does
off the rails.
something,
Sorry.
he does something for Al.
Well, to quote another
Well, he and
famous
Al
show's
switched
ending,
places.
he
They leap back. There was, you know what? Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop because I'm going off. I'm
Wonder
going off
Years?
on a thing that doesn't have anything to do with
Yeah,
deja vu.
we're-
Well,
now
I would
side
say-
conversation.
Now we're going into Zumundo territory.
To end this aspect of it really quickly, deja vu is not something you can necessarily control. It's just going to happen.
No.
Whereas what
Oh,
we were
yeah,
talking
no,
about
no,
before,
yeah.
the whole thing with Quantum Leap, the reason it ends is because Sam takes control for the first time. And the whole purpose of Quantum Leap was he's kind of caught in like a river of like, I can't really do.
He tries
I
to
can't-"
figure
So it's
it
like-
Oh, boy.
But
every day he tries
Well,
to find a mirror.
but he
and see
finally
who
takes
is.
control, and that's why the
That's
series
true,
ends
yeah.
because again the show is not.
He was
about
like-
that
dude,
anymore.
he jumped into like Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
crazy. A
Great episode.
2-part series, I think.
But deja vu is not something we can ever control because
crazy
again,
stuff.
it
Yeah.
is just the accumulation of so many
was
experiences that
everything. He
we've
was like a
had
woman
before.
and-
Or again, I like the dream aspect of it. Well, I do, and I have thought about that.
It's funny
too.
that you mentioned that because there is a time travel theory that goes along with deja vu, and that's the time slip theory. Now, a lot of people will say that believe in the time slip theory that deja vu is a glitch in time where you momentarily overlap with another point in your own timeline.
well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I actually don't really understand.
bullshit.
No, I'm not
Well,
being
that's
funny.
to say because
No,
we
I
talked
understand.
about
I don't understand what he's
and
saying.
only
It's
per our
interesting.
conversation earlier, if time is inexistent with what you've said earlier today and what Doolin said earlier today is that timelines per se don't really exist. It's just the current moment in time.
Correct.
And there's no before or after.
But I
Hold
feel
on.
like go
but
ahead,
if
go
they're
ahead.
two are linking up, two different timelines, that means they're all doing their own wonky stuff.
Well,
Completely independent of each
also
other
with
and just
multiversal
happen
theory.
across.
Yeah, with multiversal
Well,
theory,
it-
same thing.
It
you
goes
know?
into a lot of this stuff, but I'm just saying, like, so depending on your not belief system, but your understanding of time, space continuum, you're having two intersecting timelines that are doing their own thing and just banging into each other and crossing and going over.
Yeah, times are banging.
Which I mean, it keeps slipping into the future, right? Good
Gotta
song,
fly like
good
the
song.
eagle, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Into the
God.
sea.
Classic. That being said, that
Nope, get flagged.
that
Don't do it.
that opens the door to a lot of other theories and expectations and
yeah.
how we
No.
understand reality. His
there's-
voice is just so spot
There's
on.
there's yet another theory that we're going to go to that actually goes into an episode of Zumundous that we did not too many episodes ago, like pretty recently, the simulation theory.
Well, if that's the
That
case,
deja vu is just the system reloading or fixing a glitch in the matrix, so to speak. And if you listen to our episode on simulation theory, where we talked about like, this is all just a simulation or something, like maybe it's just like basically they're saying here that a deja vu is just a software update, and you are a sim,
Right.
you are an artificially created being within the simulation, and they're doing an update and the update hits, and you as just a simulated being just go, wait a minute, what's going on? What is this? You know?
I think simulation theory is very interesting, and listen to their past episode if you haven't. There's also a very good documentary that I watched called A Glitch in the Matrix, which is all about simulation theory, and it talks to people in different walks of life, and they all believe in it to varying degrees. There are some people that have defined their lives around the fact that they believe simulation theory, and there are the people that accept it and just like, yeah, it's simulation. I'm not going to change how I act in my daily life. I'm going to do everything that I do before.
I'm going to be a good sim.
Yeah, exactly. But
It's possible.
all these various stories about how people react to it, how it's affected their lives, and it goes
It's a
to
television
historical
convention.
figures like famous authors
Yeah.
and noted scientists that apparently also kind of believe in it.
Which one? Einstein? Einstein believes in fate.
Neil deGrasse Tyson apparently has gone on record and saying that he thinks it's possible.
So he does. Yep.
The guy that makes exploding cars and spaceships thinks that it's possible.
It's right, because we mentioned both of those guys on simulation theory.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
yeah,
talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this.
The thing
Yeah.
is if you were capable, just to paraphrase Elon's thing, if you were capable, why wouldn't you? You would run historical simulations or whatever simulations of, capability wise. So if the likelihood of us being the first is unlikely if we get to the point where we could run a simulation. We already do run simulations.
Yeah.
Within the simulation, we might be running simulations.
Which is what we talked
And
about
they
on
actually-
the simulation episode.
And they've actually run simulations where the simulation tries to simulate other simulations and break out. So why are
All right, so
Oh my God, I've gone
Here's my
cross-eyed.
problem with
Why
this
would-
simulation theory
now?
thing.
And those are varying degrees. It could be a
No, I get
simulation
it.
of stick figures.
You need to believe in it, Rick.
No, it's not that.
whatever,
It's just
right?
that it just becomes more techno version of
We
the
love
same old
Neuromancer,
question.
baby.
Right.
We love
God,
Shadowrun.
choice,
Yep. I get
well,
it.
it's like I said back in
Yeah.
the simulation theory
1,000%.
episode.
I
It's
agree.
just
we
now
need-
disguised and dressed up in
It's
robot.
I made
something we can
I made a joke on the
assimilate.
simulation theory episode, like a couple
it's
episodes
theory,
back. I like,
yeah.
what
Yeah,
if
yeah.
God
You
is
can play with
just
theory,
like
yeah.
Hank from IT? You know what I mean? Like that's it's kind of.
Well, thanks a lot, Hank, because I got shit to worry about. I got bills, medical
Fucking
stuff.
Hank.
Yeah, like-
I don't know. The simulation might be a falsity, but the anxiety is real.
yeah. So what can I do? I guess I just got to
but
go
yeah,
through
the
this.
struggle is real. as
We're
they
able
say.
to assimilate the idea of simulation
very
theory much better or much easier than the concept of a cosmic being that somehow created all of this and may or may not have a
Or
plan.
Hank at IT.
Or Hank at IT.
Who is
Exactly.
the all being for us? I guess.
God damn it, Hank.
Or
Hank from
deja vu. Well, what does everyone think it is? Like,
Ergo facto.
Honestly,
are we just saying?
if I mean, like if
ipso
I.
facto recipes.
Is that Wedding Crashers or whatever? Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I guess for me, like I honestly feel like it just has to be like a brain relapse. Like in the simplest of concepts,
Relapse is such
it
a
just
harsh
has to be a
word.
brain relapse where you just your brain misfires and you recognize something as past when it's actually present. I honestly feel like that's the simplest, most logical explanation for it.
Maybe it's the feeling of joy that you finally find yourself in a familiar. Like I've never been scared when I experienced deja vu. I'm like, oh, weird, that's happened
I
before.
want that.
There is no
That's
joy
actually
in this
an
one.
interesting,
I don't. In this simulation.
something to think about. I don't think so either.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that, but like it's like
flying off my bicycle, like, oh my god, deja vu.
yeah, exactly. Like I haven't had it in a bad circumstance. So
Right.
I
It's
mean,
always
maybe
mundane, right?
Maybe
Like
it's
we
when
said.
everything
Very
like
mundane.
kind
I
of
have
clicks.
pulled these
and you're
pizza
just
rolls
like,
out of
oh.
this oven.
But I would
before.
never. I wouldn't call it joyous though. It does.
Maybe not
make
joy,
me,
yeah,
it does
that's
make me stop though.
It does
and there
make
is
you.
a sense of wonder to it.
Because it's a mystery,
little
and
bit
it's
of
not
ill at ease, feeling that comes across, but not
It's not
entirely dreadful.
right. It's not malevolent. It's not like
No.
you don't get like
There's no anxiety that happens.
It's
with
also
it.
not
like, oh, well,
ironic.
It's curiosity.
It's not ironic.
Don't you think?
Yeah, like it's not like
okay, we're just there.
no. I'm just saying like it's just a feeling that you're like, okay, we've done this before.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I think
but it's always in
It
like,
always feels
and even in a
harmless.
social situation, it's not like it's just like, oh wow, I've been here before. This is far out.
has
man.
anyone ever had that as a line?
What's
male,
that?
female,
Oh, I feel like I've
whatever,
been here before.
whatever gender. Yeah, like where like people use that as a pickup line.
Oh no, I've never seen that.
I
But
feel
that
like
could be cool.
I feel like
given
we've
me
met
deja
before.
Have I
Yeah.
met you
I
before?
feel like we've met
It's like
before.
you've given me
Yeah.
deja vu.
No, I feel like I've met
something like
before.
I
That
feel
could
like I've
be-
run away from you before. Ah!
That's the retort from the other person. Right?
There you go. No, but I mean, I would think immediately somebody would, if somebody were to pick you up with that, you'd be like, oh God, here we go. Like, I'm a Sagittarius, you know, like you would think they're going down that route, not,
Which most of the time they do.
yeah, not like, oh, sweet, deja vu. That's weird.
I think there's
I
more
feel
than
like
one
I've,
answer.
I feel
to
like
that.
I've met you before. I don't remember what happened afterwards. Let's see what happens
Or they
this
do
time.
it. They
Yeah.
do it. They don't know they actually have met you. They're like, I feel like I've met you before, and you're like, yeah, I went to high school together. So behind you in Mr. Adams' government class. How you been?
Yeah, I lost like 30 pounds. You
You're
wouldn't
eating a hot
recognize me.
dog.
Yeah.
No, I think there's more than one answer, and the answers are the ones that I like the most, which are accumulated experience to a finite point, and then dreams. I think it could be.
I think the dream thing.
I think it's both of those.
has a little bit of validity there.
I think it can be both of those because two things can be right. That could be the cause of it, and that could be cause of it, and those are the ones that I like. It makes sense to me.
The dreams thing is funny because that actually gives it a little bit of a supernatural element. If
Could
you're
be.
I like-
dreamed something before.
You know, I thought about maybe doing an episode on dreams. Like, do you actually leave this plane of
that
existence
should have been the
on
episode
dreams?
today.
Are dreams the
Duh,
hint?
of course you do.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, though.
Well,
you know,
right, so yeah,
is
dreams
what you
say it's a processing of
is
the
it?
day.
Is it all in your head, or do you go somewhere else? You know, like
There are, and I've had plenty of dreams, as everybody at the table has, I'm sure.
I hope
Never
so.
had it.
We'd be
I only have one
psychotic
friend
if
that
you don't
swears
do
that they never remembered a dream. Sean, our buddy from high school, said he
Sure.
never remembered any of his dreams. I think he was just.
I think he's full of shit.
But,
We all remember some dreams,
But like, there are things that happen that are. So we were talking about being. I did the crazy kayak trip and I was super tan afterwards. So we were talking about that in my dream last
this
night.
guy, by the way, he kayaked
I
down
didn't
the entire
just do that.
East
That was-
Coast.
that was
by
2
the
years
way,
ago.
Again?
No, not again. But like
He dropped his wallet.
in my dream, I looked at I dropped my cell phone. I get a cell phone on a trip in the water. It's gone. But I had a dream where my arm was super tan, and I made like a comment on it in my dream. And when I woke up, I knew exactly what that was from because we had just had that conversation yesterday about being super tan after the trip.
All right, so that's a little different.
So
because-
that's processing your day, and then it
Right.
manifests in your dream.
right. That's not dreaming it before.
No,
and
not at all.
then
Not at all.
living
But
it.
that's processing, like what you just said.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're
But-
thinking.
But he's talking about that notion of
Dreaming
where-
beforehand.
and then all of a sudden and then
Yep.
you
Quite possible. Yeah, absolutely.
And I have felt that very deeply where I was like, no. I don't know if I've experienced it, but I have at least witnessed myself in some respect doing exactly this.
Yeah.
And it feels like sometimes I can go back to a dream. I don't remember all of my dreams. I remember pieces of each dream, but that's the feeling that I get initially was
Yeah.
like, didn't I dream this?
And deja vu is kind of
Or-
weird because not to get too far into the dreams, we might just need to cut another episode. But like, there's people who wake up and like, if they had an emotional thing in their dream, they're mad all day.
Oh, that is
Because
so
of something
true.
that's
so true.
In my world,
Yes.
not real. Like I'd be like, I had a crazy dream that wasn't fun, or I had a crazy dream that was awesome. That does like it doesn't. That's not going to make me an a-hole all day. You know?
I think I've done that. Like, I don't know if I was an a-hole, but like definitely bad place.
But you can
bad
go into like
place
some weird
mentally.
places.
Yeah,
you can have
yeah, for sure, for
relationships
sure.
in dreams. You can be mad at your friend in a dream. Like there's all kinds of things that can happen.
Your dad confronts you and tells you he never loved
you know,
you.
like
Yeah,
I'll give you
wow,
I'll give you
okay.
an example.
That
Like
got
I
deep.
mean, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it happened to me. I'm just saying.
I had a dream.
Just pulling that out of thin air.
But seriously though, it could
But I
happen.
had a dream like not too long ago where I had like I was given $50 million in cash through illegal means.
no whammies, no whammies.
And
Please come
yeah,
through.
no, and I was like, and I
Whammy.
was sitting there, and I was like,
He's
sitting there,
guilty.
like,
He wakes up
I was
guilty.
trying to like figure out, like, all right, how am I gonna launder all this money?
Oh my God.
Like
We
this
believe in
$50
you.
million and stuff, and then I'm like,
Whoa.
and then I slowly
Injury
started to come wake up. I'm like, no, the 50 million's gone. No.
Wasn't worried about the illicit crime potential.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
just
that-
worried
that's
about the money. being
Yeah,
made.
fuck yeah.
That's a
Because like I
classic
was
thing.
like, I'm on easy street for the rest of my life. Like, damn it, I'm just a small business owner. Fuck
I'm
my life.
back
All
in
right.
reality.
I do think we do need to do an episode entirely on dreams. 'cause
Yeah,
this
they're
is an
wild.
interesting,
All right, we're
yeah.
gonna do an episode on dreams. That's the thing we're gonna do now.
But deja vu, I actually do like the I dreamed this before it happened theory. I think that actually does happen.
It's in a way the most comforting because it's like I don't know how to phrase it or articulate it. Where it's like I guess there's something bigger going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not in our brain capacity to understand it. And I know that sounds like hippy dippy mumbo jumbo. Hey, man.
This is why we have words like je ne sais quoi.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a possibility. I don't know. There's probably the banal one of like,
Benign.
Just a brain misfire.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
oh yeah, I picked up this cup yesterday like that. It's like,
Yeah,
no, you
yeah.
just did it, and now your brain processed it a little bit with a glitch. You know, like that's probably it. Is that cynical to think that though? I don't know.
It's kind of hard to think. About it. Like it's. I don't know.
But it is
It's-
always small stuff like that to me. It's never been. I think
never
you
been
said
major,
earlier,
exactly,
It's
yeah.
never been early. Yeah, where it's just like you're in a crowd. You know, you're in like the plaza, and you're like spinning like. I've been here before.
Ooh, that would be
That
wild.
guy's
Like
the killer.
a complete mall breakdown. Like, oh my God, I've been here.
Nobody goes
Yeah.
to malls anymore.
Do they exist still? Sometimes.
I don't know. But let me end by asking you guys a question. Have you guys ever experienced a moment where you swore you've experienced this exact moment before? I think we all have. And tonight on Zumundous, we're going to explore the sensation of déjà vu. Let's get at it. All right.
Again?
Yep. What do you mean? I
I get
said
that?
it now for like the first time.
No, that's